Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm. We're back, and we are now just a few days into patch 6.35, and, well, we've got a few initial impressions and discussions to have about it. And as such, let's just get started. I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Happy, and, of course, joining me is Sly, who I very jealously just watched scarf down lunch before we got the show started. Was it good, Sly? Was the food good?
It was good. It was Bojangles. It's always good.
It's always good? Oh, I'm so jealous. How you doing, Sly?
Good. I'm doing good. We have a show today. We managed to pull out a show.
Well, we thought we had a show, and then we didn't, and now we do.
We thought we had a show, and we did. Like we thought we had different shows, and it turns out they were supposed to be the same show, but like one's gonna be next week. Don't worry about that. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, we have a show today. Yay! We did it! Woo!
And as people have probably figured out, because it's still on the State of the Realm screen, we have guests that we haven't introduced yet, and we're going to wait to swap over until we introduce them. So, first and foremost, we have I believe, first time on the show. Pretty sure if I don't have you on Discord, then it usually means it's first time on the show. We have Clarissa joining us, who we were going to have on a show a while back that we never did. So, better late than never. How you doing, Clarissa?
Good. How are you?
I'm falling apart at the seams, but we got the show together, so it's fine. Thank you for taking your time very last minute.
Thank you so much for joining us, please. Please and thank you.
Yeah, you asked at midnight or something, Sly. I'm awake until 6, 7 a.m., so wasn't that late notice for me.
That works. I think it sounds like we have you up early today.
Yep.
Speaking of up early, we have another guest, this time from over an ocean, returning for, it's been a few months at this point. We have Sfi on the show today. How you doing, Sfi?
Good. I mean, I'm sure like you, coming apart at the seams, but having fun though. It's an enjoyable unfraying, I suppose.
Is it? Yeah. I guess you're unfraying. I'm referring to just general existence. You're talking about Eureka Orthos.
Oh, among other things, I'm busy as heck at the moment. But
okay, good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, glad to hear it. Well, thank you to you. I literally went into Sfi's stream and said, Sfi, what are you doing 15 hours from now?
I like that you asked it that way, though, because I think by this point you've realized that I'm absolutely terrible with time zones. I cannot convert them. It's impossible. And I've also just moved time zones myself, which makes it even worse. So I appreciate that. Very thoughtful.
Yeah, that's right, because I have to convert AEDT for next week's show, and that's...
Yeah.
Time's stupid.
That's actually the only reason I knew it was going to be 7 a.m. for you. But I still asked 15 hours because same reason. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well,
that's good.
I'm glad that we have a show today. Before we get started, quick shout out to the sponsors, everyone over on Patreon. Thank you for supporting. You don't have to. You choose to. Don't get anything special. All the content's available for free on YouTube. And also, shout out to SteelSeries for sponsoring as well. And Advanced GG. Hey, we appreciate you. Hey, thank you. 6.35 though is upon us. Now, before we get into 6.35, it's Clarissa hasn't been on the show before. Sfi, it's been a while for you, so I think we should do a little bit of catch up, get some opinions on other recent content as well, because we could probably burn through just the 6.35 discussion pretty quick, I feel. Mm-hmm. So, Clarissa, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone? Tell them who you are, what you do, how you got here, and don't go too far back with that one. But, and what you've been up to lately with 14 and everything.
I'm Clarissa. I am a samurai main. I do high-end rating, savage. I always do blind week 1 and ultimate. I try to do blind for at least a day or so. And I've cleared all the ultimates except top, which I'm still progging currently. I also like to draw, and I'm an avid music listener. I like a lot of different genres of metal and classical and all kinds of stuff. And as far as 14 goes, I do art for 14, and I've been doing more of that lately, which is really fun. I like drawing people's characters and stuff. And pretty much all I've been doing is just top prog, and it's been kind of miserable, but it's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I stop in every now and again just to disagree, just to have a different opinion. But to get everyone up to date, how do you feel about Omega Protocol? We had our protocol show a few weeks ago, so why don't we get everyone your thoughts?
I like Phase 5 so far. We're progging Sigma currently. Phase 5, I think, is enjoyable. Everything before that feels kind of meh. The only phase I actually dislike is Phase 1. I just don't think it's a good first phase. And then the other phases, I don't know, they're fine. The fight just feels kind of rushed, in my opinion. I feel like they were, I don't know, a little more creative with mechanics than other ultimates, but my opinion also isn't super weighted, I guess, because like I didn't do the Bahamut Savages or the Alexander Savages, so I started playing at like the very tail end of Stormblood, and then my first raid tier was in Shadowbringers, so my opinion is kind of skewed.
Hey, an opinion is an opinion at the end of the day.
True. Not wrong, but
That's why it's yours.
I am lacking some critical information, so.
Going back to DSR, because again, we were a while back supposed to have a DSR support group, because again, that fight traumatized pretty much every single one of you. If you have anything to get off your chest about DSR, this is your time. We'd love to hear it.
I don't know. DSR, it took us longer than we wanted to clear because we had some roster changes. Like we had to replace people just because of, you know, like actual gameplay issues. And then there was someone who couldn't raid anymore because of real life stuff. So we ended up missing out on like an entire week at one point. And I don't know. I mean, it took longer, but I don't know. I kind of just enjoyed all of DSR, even progging. I don't know. I feel like I was the only person who wasn't miserable progging it, but I don't know. I had fun. Like, I don't know. I just had a lot of fun. I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't ever feel this kind of like, I don't know, somewhat dread when coming up to like raid days for progging top. It's not so much dread, but it's kind of just like, okay, let's get it over with.
Do you think any of that is because of how much you've already raided? Like, there's been a lot of stuff to raid in this expansion so far. I feel like top is hitting. I mean, there's still another Savage tier. There's another Criterion, 2 more Criterions, and then people are doing Orthos right now. So there's been a lot of things for hardcore endgame to consume. Do you think any of that has to do with why top is kind of just down there? Do you just think it's the fight design?
For me personally, I think it's like the fight design and aesthetic and stuff, because the aesthetic isn't the most important thing, but if it's something that you're looking at for hours and hours and hours and hours and days and weeks, like it's going to have an effect on you if you don't really like it that much. And I'm not super into the Omega aesthetic robots and stuff. I'm more of a dragons kind of person, so I like DSR a lot more. But yeah, I was still really excited for it though, just because I was really excited for another ultimate, because DSR was the first one I did on content. So I was excited for that experience again. And I don't know. I think honestly, phase 1 is what really ruins it for me. If there was a checkpoint or a different first phase, or like if it started with the twins instead, I genuinely think I would have a very different opinion about the fight.
All right. Completely fair. Understand that. So, I mean, yeah, the first phase is, I don't know. For me, I'm never really a super big fan of any of the first phases. Like, they all grate on me. Like, Twintanya, I go, please, just go to nail. Just go to nail. Garuda, I'm like, it's just, I don't even want Garuda the whole first 2 phases.
That's how I feel about, like, all of Uwu, though.
Yeah,
like, all the primal phases, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Let's get to Ultima.
Yeah, pretty much so. No, but, no, that's fine. It's good. That means we don't need you in the top support group unless you just want to be glad that you're done with it when we eventually do one.
Yeah, that's, I feel like, pretty much going to be how I feel.
Perfectly fair. Now, Sfi, we also haven't had you on since Omega Protocol, and you were over there nodding at her distaste for certain aspects of it. So where are you at, man? Because maybe you do need the support group at the end of it all.
So I was agreeing with her saying that she's the only one that likes DSR more than top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. DSR, I feel like DSR is made to make you feel bad when you fail. Top doesn't make you feel as bad when you fail. It's just, it feels like it's more understandable. I'm not sure if it's the fight design, if it's the music, I don't even know. But every time there's mistakes, every time that you go back to phase 1, DSR feels infinitely worse. Even though phase 1 of top is way, way, way worse as a phase. Like, it sucks. But I don't mind it as much, because I feel like it gets better. But DSR, just like, it feels like the pit just keeps getting deeper the further in you go. And maybe I'm alone there as well. Yeah. Maybe. It's just, the fight is super punishing in ways that make you feel really bad as a player. Whereas the failures that happen in top are generally like, they're not as personal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it could be like just the tiniest little mistake wipes it entirely.
The little nuances and little things that you're like, oh, I didn't realize that was a mistake that could happen or something like that. And then you'll progress through the fight like that. Whereas DSR is just like, oh, I didn't notice this one thing, or my mind went blank and I forgot which order things are happening, and now I'm just the worst player in history. I'm terrible and garbage, and there's droning in my ear and disparages in chat, and everything is miserable.
Listen, I know Death of the Heavens and Raw Flames, they hurt a lot of people, but it sounds like they hurt you a lot.
Yeah. No, DSR, it's a good fight, I think. But also, I mean, the group situation at the time wasn't the best, so like environment wasn't fantastic and morale was down and all that sort of stuff. So like the whole experience was kind of soured by that as well. I mean, everybody's going to say that like the fights that they enjoyed the most are probably the ones they had the most fun group to be in at the time. And so that contributed as well. And top has been a lot more fun, even though like I think they're probably pretty similar in difficulty. They target different areas of skill and player skill and team synergy and things like that. But they give me a completely different vibe. Completely different. And it's good. I like that.
You know why I hate wiping in DSR in particular? Because it means I have to do eyes and rewind again. And that, to me, never feels good. It feels so bad having to go through eyes and rewind.
You saying that actually makes me feel like that's probably a really big part of it, because it feels like, because there's a literal rewind in the fight, that the whole first half is irrelevant, and you're wasting your entire time there. It's not how
Skip ahead to the good part of the story, minstrel. Come on.
It's like you get invested in the lore of the fight, right? The story it's telling. And then going through this part, which is literally just going to be undone halfway through. What's the point? Why am I here? Just save him now. We can LB3, right?
Just save him now.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I feel you. Yeah. And, I've already gotten to, spill my heart out about top, so I don't need to do that again. But big fan. TLDR. Big fan.
Yeah.
Sly wins your top group. Come on, we talked about this last time.
Whenever I get a group of people I trust.
All right. Well, we need 4 more people. We've got half of them here right now. We've got a range to cast. We've got all 4 DPS, so we may have trouble finding the other 4. Okay.
Fair.
Actually, we have a pretty good comp right here. Dragoon, Samurai, Ranged, and Caster right now.
Yeah.
Strong. Yeah.
That's pretty strong. All right. Well, if there's nothing else you want to share about the recent raid tiers or anything, or if you want to, we can divert away. But if not, we've got 6.35, which just released this past Tuesday, and a bit of a divisive one, as has been the case with most patches in Final Fantasy XIV for all of Endwalker, it feels.
Yeah.
Has that been weird to you guys? Have you felt the divisiveness like this in any of the... Well, is it more here? Do you feel like it's more in Endwalker than in previous expansions?
I think... Yes, because the player base has grown, and a lot of them aren't used to the way that Final Fantasy does things that are new, which is the same way it's always been. But obviously, they've had this whole flood of content that they could do and catch up on, and now they're like, give us the new stuff, and it's kind of just more of the same, which they're not really expecting. Would probably be why I think that's the case. Also, they are trying some new things, like Criterion and stuff like that. And it feels like when they are doing these things, they're going a little more away from what Final Fantasy has been in that regard, where, like Final Fantasy is, if it was to be a pool, it would be very, very wide, but very, very shallow. And it feels like in some areas they're digging a bit deeper, like Criterion dungeons, like that sort of thing. So maybe there's a bit of that as well. You're never gonna, with the player base being bigger, you're never going to have everybody happy. Ever.
No,
so I think that's probably number one contributor.
And shut up, Happy. I heard that.
Had to do it. I live for those moments. What about you?
Clarissa, what about you?
There you go.
I mean, yeah, I think it's also like there are slight changes with certain things, like the relic step. Obviously, there's like longtime players who are upset about that because some people, not all the people upset about it, but I've seen some people like kind of trying to gatekeep a bit, and they're like, well, I had to suffer with previous relics, so now everyone else has to suffer. But it's like, so you want to suffer again too? Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of what they chose to do for this step, just because it feels very lazy. Like, I don't know. I wish they would have done something more. I'm not saying I want to spam alliance raids or anything, but just, I don't know, maybe a little something more.
I was dreading a near step. So bad.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I feel like that won't happen.
I don't want that, but just a tiny little something more. I don't know what though. I don't have the answers, but
honestly, in terms of everything in Walker, I feel like I agree with you, Sfi, in terms of the newer player base not in the rhythm per se yet. But there's the other half of the old heads who seen and done everything and have experienced it a certain way. And it's not only that, but the expansion in general has just felt weird. Content wise, balance wise, everything at every single point. I don't think we can say for certain that we've had solid patches. We had they were really solid, not perfect, but not bad either. And I felt like Shadowbringers kind of stood out a little bit more in terms of the content we got in patches. That and what was I about to say? Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, the content lulls in Walker for some reason hit a little bit harder than what they did in Shadowbringers.
I think I know why that is.
I know why that is, because all the shit we were saving for when we had time, we did when the Shadowbringers had all the shit delayed. Everything that was on the bucket list, you're like, well, I got like 6 extra months because of all the delays, so I'm going to get those done now, and now they're all gone.
I think another big part of that is the relic step, which we touched upon just then. But we'd just come from Eureka, 4 huge zones, tons of progression to go through, a huge 48-man dungeon, was 64 in the end, dungeon at the end of that, and then Bozia and Zadnor, which were just, you could do so much, spend so much time in it. There was like no limit to the things you could do with that content versus a quest and a tome dump, and that's it. Like,
yeah,
that right there is dozens, hundreds of hours of potential content that doesn't exist in this expansion
yet.
Yeah, you're right. Now
it's not going to. Let's be honest.
I don't think so either.
No, it's yet.
There's one other thing that I think also contributes to this sort of feeling like Endwalker's missing a bit, which is that every major patch feels like it's had something kind of major go wrong. Whether it be...
That's what I meant. Like, every patch was solid, but not... It's not bad, but it's solid.
So, like, you had in one patch the major housing issues where the lotteries were all messed up and there were, like, big apologies coming out. And then you've got the connection issues in another major patch. People not really being able to play the game at all at certain periods of time. It just feels like there's lots of these little things like that which kind of sour the mood a little bit. But if you look past it, and maybe it's a recency bias thing as well. Maybe next expansion we'll just kind of forget that existed and we'll be like, oh, look at all the content we had in this patch, and just forget the fact that, half the people had horrible memory leaks when they tried to play the game and things like that. And because it is, as you said, solid, like as a package, you look at this patch, which is a 0.35, right? It's supposed to have such a small amount, but it has so much content in it in terms of time that you can commit. You've got, we're going to go into it all, but there's thousands of hours of stuff to do in this patch. if you want to do it all. Oh God, please don't. But yeah, there's just that little weight. It feels like dragging it down.
I feel that. No, I totally get that because it's also what ball ends up getting dropped in any individual patch, and it's usually like one big thing and a few smaller things. Like you look at the Criterion patch, reward structure, keep maintaining interest became the primary struggle of that one. It wasn't like a housing crisis or anything like that, but that hurts this new idea that everyone says it's great, and then they get to the end of it and they're like, materia.
And you don't even have to do the savage for the mount. There's a chance it drops from the normal one too.
Yeah. And the tokens is from normal clears as well. Like if you just want to buy it with tokens, it's from normal clears as well. Yeah.
And clearing savage doesn't give you tokens for the
normal mode,
mount anyway. Like I could go on forever about it. I'm going to.
Yeah. No, I know. Because a lot of us wanted to like it or did like it or wanted to have interest, but it was like, well, guess I'm done.
Yeah, it's such good content, and it's just missing the reason to do it. It's like it's essentially the same as running an expert when you're already capped. Sure, I can go in there and push buttons, but like, why?
Yeah, and that's been, I think, a big struggle. All their ideas have struggled to have lasting impact. Another Island Sanctuary, which is one of the reasons we don't have an exploration zone. That's missing a few things functionally, I'd say, in terms of being fun as a whole. But also, it's like, unless you want to get all the mounts and then get materia, constantly, then same deal, kind of.
I mean, Island Sanctuary did single-handedly pay for all of my crafting and gathering pentamelds in 6.3. So it's a good piece of content. I didn't spend a cent.
Lucky. I mean, I don't craft or gather. So.
Yeah. I mean, neither. I literally have it there, so it looks like I'm this, and that I care about it. And it's just to get me to level whatever we get to next expansion. That's all I'm going to have it for. Yeah, I do it every expansion once.
Gonna go get all your splendiferous tools or whatever they're called.
Splendiferous.
A lot of time. That's a lot of time.
Don't get me fucking started about those stupid fucking tools.
What do you mean? They're
now,
great.
They're
do
worthless.
They glow?
In one regard, they are. In another, they're like this little beacon of hope that on what is supposedly an endgame piece of... Yes, absolutely.
I know where you're going.
It's been copium since they added in 2.0 the free company set bonuses, and then they did it again in Eureka with like the Strider boots and all this stuff. And then they're like, oh, here's some actual things that you're going to use in the game now, not just meme items that have added effects. Like you have a chance while you have this weapon equipped to proc something cool. And I'm like, there's a glimmer. There's a tiny little speck of hope, but I've been burned before.
Let me shoot down that hope. Okay. So the effect on the splendiferous tool is something that would be only activated through manual crafting, which 9 out of 10, nobody does anymore. 2, the things are like 60 control under an indicator main hand. So already off gate, like I'm wasting time. Off gate, like I'm not even fucking thinking about it. Next patch, could it be better? Possibly. It's still not going to beat out whatever you have as a crafted main hand and offhand. Not going to beat that.
So pretty.
I mean, why does anyone else do relics other than for the glow?
Exactly.
If you really want to, the macro for the materials and whatnot to make splendiferous tools isn't that bad either. But if you want to go through and use that time, by all means, go ahead. It'll look pretty.
It sure will. Hey, that's endgame.
My issue with the weapons is that they exist now with a passive bonus, but they exist already for more work than the things that they're supposed to replace or be on par with. And the added effect doesn't compensate for that. Now, if they came out and they were stat-wise on par with the added effect, cool, there's a reason to do it now, but it feels like it's just there to eat your time and not reward you for something good. Because at the end of the expansion, the relic weapon is the best, right? That's the way that it works. Not only do you have quests and stuff to do it all and the progression of it throughout the expansion, but it ends up being the best thing that you have. Has that ever been the case for a crafting weapon?
No. Like, crafted has always been, and pentamelded crafted has always been and will forever be better than what they do for the crafted relics. It's dumb. And if I get the chance, I'm going to ask him why. Next media tour or interview or whatnot, if I get the chance, I'm asking why. That is one of my questions.
Just email him and just be like, why do these suck? That's it. Clarissa, you don't.
I mean, well, somebody in chat says crafted tools.
You do?
I'm
the only one who doesn't? God damn.
Yeah, I have the Saint of the Firmament title.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. That's all right. That's
just no big deal.
Look at you being special and shit. God.
I was like, she's real quiet. I bet she's like me. She doesn't do a whole.
No, I just didn't bother with any of the crafter relics from Shadowbringers because I saw how much of a waste they were. I was like, why would I do this? So.
Fine, I'll be the guy who just started leveling his crafters because Loprits came out this expansion.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, Happy.
Well, to be fair, last expansion I had a reason to level them all immediately because we still needed them all for melding. Now I just needed one, so I leveled one, and then that was it. So I'm just getting around to it now.
I'm happy for you.
No, I'm happy. You're Sly.
Anyway, like, Loprits, well, again, Loprits is just something, like, for those who have their crafters level, it's something to do, and it's usually like a 2 or 3 button craft, whereas for you actually have to,
It's still only 3 buttons for me, Sly. It doesn't change anything. It's literally like, I don't even know the names of the skills. They were all X'd out when I swapped to the job. But
once you're leveled, it could be 2 buttons instead of 3.
Right.
Isn't that good incentive?
I mean, well, no. It's still going to be 3 regardless. Like pentamelded, like if you have on food, it'll probably be 2. But
pentameld. Sly, what the fuck do you think I'm doing when I hit 90 with these jobs? You think I'm pentamelding them? Sly, I'm going to get exactly what I need to craft the syrup to hand in for leave quests, and that's the end of it. Okay, those are my new coffee biscuits, as far as I'm concerned. And that's
you also just bring up the idea of using food for your beast tribe dailies to reduce your craft by 1 step.
By 1 skill, yeah.
In a beast tribe.
I was just putting a thought out there. Like I'm not gonna fucking do it. I don't.
I'm using degenerate min maxes, but good lord, these crafters.
He's not slacking on the quality for the Loporits.
I don't even remember what it is. There's like a skill that you can only use on the first turn that's like quality, and then it increases your stuff for the next
your quality?
No, the progress.
The one that increases.
No, progress.
Oh, the progress.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, muscle memory.
It's like muscle memory, innervation or something, and then groundwork. And then that's it, and it's done. Those are the only 3 things I press. And then if it's HQ, I don't remember. I just press the other. The same equivalent, but for quality.
See, all I gotta do is just press groundwork twice. That's it.
Yeah, well, go fuck yourself. How about that? I can't do that. How about that, huh?
I mean, you could do veneration and groundwork, but that's still 2 buttons. So, yeah, just groundwork twice.
Groundwork once doesn't work for me. Okay, or I know groundwork twice probably does work for me, though. I don't know why I'm pressing 3 buttons. Shut up. Listen, I'm leveling it, okay?
Literally no one talking. Shut up.
That real Devil May Cry vibes. Get out of my way, Nero. He's standing all the way over there. Well, I mean, there are other reasons why you may. I mean, the Loporrit story is, the Omicrons were great, just to go back a little bit. So, even if you had your gatherers leveled, that was well worth it. Not to mention free gathering materia. Same here, free crafting materia just for doing it. What was
I have a
that?
very important question about the Loporrit beast tribes.
Okay.
Has it completely invalidated every single club venue because it's just better?
I would say so.
Yeah, I
would.
think it
I
has.
mean, Loporrit.
I mean, okay, like here's the thing. There's
Damn,
a floor.
Sly.
That's great. There's a floor, and then we don't even know if we're actually getting the DJ booth. If we get the DJ booth and the emote for the DJ booth, great.
There's another emote there that we don't have that they need to release, and it's the waving thing, but with the carrots instead of the glow
the
sticks.
carrot glow sticks.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
Yeah. Yeah, they got little carrot glow sticks. Yeah, that one's definitely got to happen. Please don't Mog Station it. Please just put it in.
But more than likely, a lot of nightlife spots are going to use the floors, but integrate it into their designs because a lot of nightlife spots have really, really good designs already. So the floors would just be an added bonus.
Yeah, I assume that a bunch of that stuff there'd be no reason for them to not add it as an actual housing item.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how many times have we said the same thing about other items before?
Yeah.
But I mean, it
Dude, the
exists.
slide doesn't even work. I was so
I
mad
know. That was the first thing I did. I saw the slide and I was like, "Does
Everybody
that
is
work?"
so mad at that.
because we have slide mechanics in the pixie area.
Oh yeah, you're right. I completely forgot about
I
that.
think it's because it's only
Tiny?
made for Loporrits, but then I'm a Lalafell. Let it work for me.
They
I don't
also
give a fuck about anyone else.
in
No,
the
you got
quest,
a chair. Oh, we don't
He's
talk about
like,
that. We can't. Too much drama.
Fair.
The one guy says, "I think it would be hard to get someone to buy that slide, though." And then they show it, so maybe they're gonna do something with the slide, and then it'll work later. Foreshadowing? Question mark.
Oh, how about a slide that goes from there to the back down to Best Way Burrows instead of the teleport?
That would be cool. That'd be cute.
full length slide.
You just see Loporrits all the time going, "Meow."
The seat thing cracks me the fuck up. I'm a Lalafell, and I gotta say, that shit cracks me the fuck up. But I know it's not cracking some people up. It's cracking their fucking minds from what I can see.
Sometimes people take video games just a little bit too seriously, I think. This is one of them. It's a video game chair. That's it. I don't think it's hurting anybody. You sit on it. That's what it's for.
Yeah, it reminds me of when they made Kevin Hart sit in a baby seat for a car. Like tried to strap him into a baby seat, and it's like that. Nobody's getting mad at that. I mean, to be fair, it's Kevin Hart, but either way, same thing. Yeah, I don't know. That whole thing is so confusing.
But still, we wonder why in terms of like community. People call Lalafells babies, and there's so much Lalafell fucking hate. And then the devs just do this. It's stupid. It was a misstep from the devs.
I'm a Lalafell, and I've never cared. I'm only a Lalafell because somebody gave me 5 Fantasias. Said, "Hey, I'm having a Lalafell like glam contest. Can you come be a judge?" I said, "I'm not a Lalafell," and they said, "I'll pay for your Fantasias to make you a Lalafell." I said, "Okay, Mel, please make me a Lalafell because I don't know what to do with this thing." And I just never changed it back. That's it. That's all it is to me. But whenever Lalafells come up, something always happens. I don't remember what the tweet was, my initial tweet, but I had a tweet that like had a bunch of replies, and one of them said something like, "You're a stain on the Final Fantasy XIV community." And then I clicked their Twitter profile, and it was a Lalafell with giant tits modded on it. And I was like, "Who are you? And how is pot and kettle not met yet?"
I
had to double check to see if it was like Folds Alt or something, because he's like the first person I think of when something like that would happen.
I could have gone my whole life not knowing that mod exists. So thank you.
Oh, there's plenty worse than that. Don't go looking for it, but just take my word. There's plenty worse than that, unfortunately. But yeah, I think, you can say that it's Is it even in bad taste? I play Lalafell as well. I think it's funny. Right?
It is funny.
I don't
It's
think
just, it's a chair. Like,
Yeah.
regardless of the age that people say Lalafell are short. Period. And so it is
Yeah.
a chair to put them up at a higher table that is too high for them. The end.
It's a fucking baby seat.
It sure is.
It's just a chair.
It's
It
better
is
than
literally
standing
a
on the
baby
stool. Here's the thing: no matter what you do for a Lalafell seat to be at a higher table, it's gonna look ridiculous outside of
Yeah.
them standing on the stool. Because they're just
Have you seen them drive? Have you seen them drive the car? They have to stand on the seat. It's terrible.
they just stand on it. Yeah, and it's not like what if they introduce a seat that's just a stack of like phone books? Like that's the equivalent. I mean, that's the next thing you do. I remember having to stand on phone books or sit on phone books and stuff like that. So, same thing for me at least. So I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things you have to have too much time to complain about, personally.
Yeah. Really nitpicking, like just looking for something to be upset about.
Aloha, what are you doing?
Speaking of Aloha, there's like that cat tree item, right, in the game.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of it, and it's like great for Makotes. I have not heard a thing about it. There's no uproar. There's no massive Makote are an oppressed peoples. It's not that deep. It's a cat joke. It's a short joke. It's the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know why anything that has to do
Why
with
are you looking
Lalafell
into
just
disbelief?
gets so much, like, I don't know, attention and stuff. I don't know. I have no problem with Lalafell. They're just a race in a video game.
Sly. You all right over there, Sly?
He's thinking so hard right now.
We actually have cats, though.
There's actually children too. See? We don't have them, but they're there.
The tree was a completely different thing. I'm just saying, it was a completely different thing from a fucking baby seat. I was not thinking of my Mikote brethren and sisters.
I'm gonna get an adult baby seat, and I'm gonna show up on the show one day with it, full on like got the tray and everything, and the whole and a bib and the whole show. I'm just gonna like toss shit across the room like a fucking kid does. There you go. Hey, it's just a chair.
It doesn't have the like tray. Like the tooltip makes it look like it's a high chair with the tray in front of it and stuff. It's just a raised like platform seat.
Yeah, it has like a really low back.
Yeah.
So it looks like a
But
tray.
why
but
is
it's
it
not
pink and
necessarily-
frilly, though?
Why can't it be
It's just
pink?
pink and
Pink's a
white.
great
There's no
color.
frills.
Yeah.
It's a wooden chair.
I
There's no
had a
frills.
blue chair and a pink chair growing up.
Yeah, and you can dye it. It's dyeable.
Okay.
Oh, see, it's I didn't even know that one.
Okay, he's
fucking
relaxing. He's calming down.
Bro, I lost the FanFest lottery, so I entered a house lottery that had 2 people on it. I lost that one too.
Ooh. I went into one that had like 270.
And the
Funnily
house I
enough,
was
I
gonna
lost.
bid on had 0, so I should have taken that one. So I was like, okay, here's the easy one. No one wants this one. It's in a shit spot. But let me go for the front one in the front that only has 2. And I was like, all right, lost that one as well.
That was this patch. When did the auto demolition resume? Was it in this
was this
patch?
one.
It was just before. On the same day? I can't remember.
What just passed was the 45-day mark.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that a lot opened up then as well. And obviously, I think we just need more wards. That'll solve the problem. More wards will definitely solve the problem. If you're listening, Square Enix, I think all we need is more wards and everything will be
More
peachy.
FC wards too. We need more FC wards.
FC exclusive wards, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
My apartment is just green screens and my Criterion Savage banner. That's the only thing in my fucking apartment. I can't put my Palace of the Dead thing down in there though, unfortunately. My little fireball eye thing. So,
Oh yeah, outdoor item.
yeah. There's the outdoor item for
It's like
Palace.
the big
right, yeah.
Yeah, like square pole kind of thing with the red eye on the top.
The
Looks like the eye of
Eye
Sauron.
of Sauron looking thing, yeah.
or the glass marble, whatever it is.
Last Pumpkin. You've played Tactics Ogre?
I didn't finish it.
Oh, really?
I didn't have time to finish it. I got 2 Beastmasters, 6 dragons, and ran out of time.
You've pretty much beaten the game at that point. It's fine.
Yeah. I caught every dragon from every quest, even if I already had it.
Good.
I had to do it.
I found out, I heard there was a hot witch, and to get the hot witch, you needed dragons, so I caught every dragon as well. So, it's all right. We're playing for the same reasons, obviously, clearly.
Well, so otherwise, Loprits off to a good start. Obviously, we're not too far along with them yet. We do know that the mount has an action at the very least, and it's a pretty cool looking action at that. There's the daily quest that has it. It's like the DJ, like the equalizer. It's like raises out of the ground in an AoE. So, and it makes like a little dubstep sound, I think, as well. So that's
I haven't gotten that quest yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I did get it, but I have all my animations turned off, so I didn't actually see it. Oops.
Cringe.
I'll change it next time. I'll try to remember. But if Square Enix want me to be able to see boss mechanics, they need to let me scale
Set it
down
to
my.
limited. It works on
I
limited.
played Summoner in a dungeon on limited. It does not work on limited.
I didn't
turn
have
it off.
glasses when I started playing Final Fantasy XIV. I have them now. I think it's playing Summoner has ruined my eyes.
Well, maybe new Summoner has. Although I guess as soon as they added Death Flare, it was all downhill for your eyes from there.
It's over. And things like foul scaling on enemy model size, like so your foul ultimate is just I can't see, but yeah, it's bad.
So funny.
It's scalable particle effects, please.
I did phase 1 of Top in first person. Now I'm blind.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a great idea.
There's nothing quite like trying to do Pantocrator and you have to look at the floor. Just be like, where's the A again? All right, where's the next one?
The machinist has his gun and he's aiming. He's walking around like this.
It's not even looking at the boss. Every time you look at the boss, it goes. Every time you
Is
attack.
the boss still there? Okay.
Yeah, it
Boss
just
still
whips up. Oh God. But yeah, so that's Loprits getting that leveled. I have not touched the Splendiferous tools, but fortunately you all have or won't. Yeah, or are advising not to. Then we have Hildebrand itself, and not just the relic quest. I mean the actual Hildebrand quest. And boy, are they getting better at these. They're already good at them, but they've kind of peaked at this point.
Yeah, I think this one was probably the best.
Sfi, have you done it yet, or did you skip the whole thing?
So I did skip the whole thing, and the thing that I don't like about Hildebrand being relics is that Hildebrand is generally like, I need to be in a really specific kind of mood, right? But I'm also just the kind of person who's like, oh, there's a quest that's like a grind thing or something new that's even remotely battle content related, like it has a weapon. I have to do it straight away. And if I'm not in the mood to do Hildebrand, which is kind of what they expect out of it, then I'm skipping. So I will go back and watch it on an alt when I have the time or the desire to, which is going to happen at some point. It's just not right now. So skipping to it, I was like, what the hell is going on? I mean, I'm pretty sure even if I watched the cutscenes, I'd still be saying what the hell is going on. But that was kind of my experience with it. Just a whole lot of I'm here, I'm there, I'm Godbert, and now I'm at a weapon. Yeah.
Playing as Godbert was very fun.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, you know what's funny? You can fail every mechanic and you just can't die. It's like you're there trying to be a responsible player, and there's no reason. He's invincible. It's impossible to lose, and it's one of the best. It's the best use of a solo instance that I've seen. But the actual story too has a lot of fantastically done moments, especially if you're a fan of the PlayStation 1 era of gaming. This feels like what?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it, but out of context, that makes zero sense.
It'll make complete sense to you about 15 minutes in. Because,
I'm looking forward to it.
I'll do you the favor of not spoiling it, but now have that in the back of your mind, that if you love PlayStation 1 graphics and sound and everything, it is an absolute treat. Yeah, there you go.
What do you think about the weapons themselves?
I loved the first step, and I think the glows are done really tastefully here.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, agree.
I honestly couldn't have asked for. I just couldn't have asked for it to have gone better, given what everyone's I didn't expect them to be jokes, but I know everyone did. Like everyone's like, oh, they're attached to Hildebrand. They're going to be like the kettle weapons, and I was like, those are great. Shut the fuck up. But either way, no, I think there's a few designs like I'm less a fan of. I think that's bound to happen. You know, everyone dislikes different ones, but
Of course.
overall, I mean, really high quality, and they know right away to make sure that we have, you know, access to the old steps, and you know, in case you want something that's a little less fancy and whatnot. So it's a lot of lessons learned for the weapons themselves, but not so much on the quest itself.
The one thing that I think I don't like about it, I mean, I know that it's Hildebrand connected, but just the amazing Mandeville rod doesn't scream relic to me. You know, like
Yeah,
you've got Lilith rod or Stardust rod. No, I have the amazing Mandeville rod.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got any salamander oil? You got any salamander oil for that one?
it really doesn't feel like a relic, but it's cool. It looks great. So, I mean, I'm happy enough. It's a glamour at the end of the day for me, but
Fair.
just feels off. That's all.
How's the samurai one, Clarissa? Have you looked at it? That's one I haven't seen.
I actually haven't looked at it. I got the Reaper one. And I love it. It looks awesome. I do wish that the weapon in this glowy stage died though, because it doesn't, and it's white. It's like the bandages that are wrapped around it die. And I don't really like white weapons personally, so it sucks that it doesn't die, but it does still look really cool, which is nice because there's just not a ton of sides in the game yet, obviously, because the class is still new.
Yeah. Although, did you looked at the top one? Because I really like the top Reaper weapon. Was one of my favorite ones.
I feel like it's a little
Bulky.
top heavy,
But
but other than that, I do think it's pretty good. I love the effect that they did so much. I think they did such a good job with these ultimate weapons.
yes, big fan.
Oh yeah, after DSR, I was hoping that it was going to be good because man, they
Yeah.
sucked.
I hate the DSR. Dude, I hate the DSR ones. It sucks because I think they look good sheathed. I'm fine with like the color and everything. I wish it wasn't like gold shade number 3 or whatever, but whenever you take it out, it's the effect and the glow. It's so extremely busy, just like all in one spot, and it's like 4 different colors. There's like specks of blue and orange and red and yellow, like
Those
and
must
it's
be nice to see.
busy.
I'm super colorblind, so I never noticed things like that. I'm like, wow, that's those colors. Wow.
So the
Yeah,
top
that's
one
funny, it's in his-
probably.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the top ones probably pop really well for you then,
Yep.
even though they're just huge in contrast. Yeah.
I haven't spent the totem yet because I don't know. I just don't know.
Wait, did that totem? No reclares?
Sfi, you know what I went through, right?
Do we need to get a reclare group together? Is that what I'm hearing?
I wouldn't even mind. Honestly, I'm so not stressed by top that like when DSR reclears are coming around, I was the way Clarissa was talking about like top days, like kind of just like thinking about them. That's me with DSR. I'm just like I don't even want to think about doing DSR again.
Yeah.
But top,
Okay,
I'm just
fair,
like,
fair.
what's our priority? Okay, whatever. Just tell me where to stand. I'll go there.
I'm so sad about the samurai sheath for the top weapon, though. It's like covered in barnacles. It's so extremely ugly. And with the samurai weapon, you always see the sheath.
It's barnacles.
It's so ugly.
I don't remember.
It's so bad.
Actually, I do remember.
It looks
not being
exactly
wild
like
about
barnacles.
I
It's
don't
like
re-
it comes off of the sheath in multiple spots. It's has the texture and shape and everything of barnacles. It looks gross.
Barnacles.
Barnacles.
I think it's just the word. I hear the word and I hear it in Patrick's voice. It's the word's ruined for me.
It's understandable.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get the monk ones though. I haven't played monk much, but the monk top weapons, I'm a big fan. I like really simple ones that are like mostly gloves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Virtually every monk player I've ever talked to says exactly the same thing.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
the Halligan claws are kind of the only like bigger ones that anyone actually likes that I know
Abyssos
of.
claws,
Other than that,
I actually do like the Abyssos claws, even though they're gaudy as heck. But like they do something, like I think it was the Hydatos one with the spike, the one spike that comes out of the side like this. It just looks really weird. Dumaziz, I think it's called, or something, the weapon. But then you have the Pyros ones, which are just the knuckles with the fire over them. And
I love the
yeah.
Pyros effect. I love those ones.
And even the final step for the Shadowbringers one, the matte version, where it's just the adornments on your hand and it just has the tiny little sigil, as opposed to like the Katars that spawn for the normal one. Those are big. Anima weapon for Monk, yeah. And then also like Spheri and stuff. The Manderville ones are basically dragon Spheri. So it's
cool.
yeah,
I
they're
haven't seen them
they're
yet,
just
so.
they're dragon mitts, we call them. But with the little glowing part behind them on the sides a little bit.
Yeah.
Sly, what's the Manderville Dragon one like?
Kind of white and glowy. Like it's pretty as fuck. Like I liked it when I got it. White and glowy.
Yeah, that's how the Reaper one is white too and glowy.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, I
sure
think
sounds
I
like a
saw-
relic weapon. Yeah.
Sure does.
Sure does.
Yeah. I think the tombstone thing though, I think they just thought to themselves, you know what? No matter what we ask you to do, you're gonna get tomes. So just hand in tomes. You could do whatever you want now. Like that's what they said. They wanted to make it so you could do, a lot of activities and still earn it. And it's like, yeah, but I don't want to have to spend 28,500 tomes twice to get all the weapons, and even then make me do something. I don't know. Like when I log in, I want to feel like I logged in to work on a relic for a little bit, not I logged in to play the game and then happened to get enough to make to like buy a chondrite or something.
Yeah, it feels like it's nice for people who are like leveling a class because they can, do like level 80 dungeons or whatever. They can get the tomes that they need and XP. So 2 birds, 1 stone. But then for people who have everything maxed, it kind of feels, I don't know. Like I said, lazy. I don't want to, like I said, farm alliance raids or fates, but I don't know, something more
You might have to.
would have been nice.
No, just do deep dungeon. That's already funded like a few of them for me at this point.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was
Right.
hoping they would tie it in with the deep dungeon, but
They did 60
I mean,
60 astronomy tomes.
yeah, I was about to say, in a way they did, but that's more indirect.
Yeah. Either way, I do hope they at least do. Like I hate this.
Something.
I don't want to say books, but like,
Don't say books.
what if it
Please
was
don't say
better?
books.
But what if they were better books? Because you
No,
gotta remember,
no,
books
no.
back in the day were a problem with the
Books
game.
back in the day fucking suck.
Yeah, but you gotta
I
remember
would-
how the game was designed
he's
back then,
coping,
made
he's
them
coping.
worse. Like, 'cause
I actually agree with you. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the respawns of fates, the respawns of mobs, the fact that there were like limited things that multiple people were going for was the biggest problem with books to me, at least. Because like you go out to farm one specific mob and there's 17 other dudes sitting around there spawn camping them, and you're just like, well, okay, I guess I just can't get this one today. But if they did that today, they'd do it in a way that's better, right? They'd have books where you go into a specific dungeon, right? That
Even if you
immediately-
do, we have unsynced, we have trusts and duty support for most of them now. We have more
Yeah.
roulettes. We have Party Finder.
Yeah, if they did books completely differently, then
Yeah.
yeah.
There you
for
go.
it. Good.
So books, but
books,
not books,
but not books. Exactly.
Yeah.
They can call it a book, but it doesn't have to be those books. It's
Yeah.
new books.
No, we would still collectively call them books.
That's fine.
We
I
would know.
expected light farming this. I actually full on expected light farming from this step.
I think I
I could
expected
take light
anything.
farming.
Light farming, did they do? They didn't really do light farming for a while.
Eureka
Yeah.
was the last time they did it.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It says it bright light.
Yeah, but the way that you go about doing it didn't feel like light farming, I guess. When I'm thinking of the older
You're thinking
ones
of
where
like spamming Garuda for 2 hours and then it changing
Yeah.
instance. Yeah.
yeah. That's what I consider like light farming, not the fact that it gets light, but the actual process of here's your rotation of menial tasks that you can do on repeat ad nauseum to power up your little glowy stick.
Or just do your normal stuff for the day and maybe do a little bit of mix and matching.
Yeah.
No 270 ARFs, though. Definitely not 270 ARFs.
Not down for that one.
Or myth flocks. No, it wasn't 270 ARFs. It was 270 myth flocks. First 2 bosses. That's what it was.
Myth flocks?
Yeah, Brayflox long stop, Mythlocks long stop way back when. We only did the first 2 bosses to get tomes and then reset.
Yeah.
Over and over and
You
over
reset
and
it,
over
yeah.
and over 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 again. 30 runs per book. That was part of the book.
I don't think that was 30 overs. Do you keep going?
Over. Okay, I can't do it.
Okay.
Doesn't even sound like words anymore.
Nope.
Why do you egg him on, Clarissa? Stop. No.
I'm an egger, dude. I'm an egger.
Egger.
Yeah. New word.
I love eggs. Eggs are too expensive right now. Can't do it. No eggs. Can't throw eggs. Sorry, they're expensive over here, Sfi.
Oh, I didn't know. Why are eggs expensive?
Avian flu killed a bunch of chickens.
I was going to say is there a chicken shortage, but I guess there is. Yeah, damn.
Yeah,
that is unfortunate.
That's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so we have those. We have the relics. We have tomes. Cool. The big thing at the patch, though, is of course Eureka Orthos, which is the latest deep dungeon. They haven't added one since Heaven on High back in the middle of Stormblood. So there was quite a bit of expectation in terms of what they do different, what they do the same, and how it would go. Again, there's been kind of like an on-edginess of every time they do something new this expansion. What's going to be wrong with this one? I'll just say this is my favorite one, and I don't think it's recency bias.
Yep.
That's fair.
I agree. I think it is the best one, and it's also not the hardest, which usually are conflicting statements for me.
Well, when we talk about difficulty, it's not the hardest, but I remember you saying it's less forgiving.
Oh yeah.
In a way.
I know how to word it.
Yeah.
You're less likely to die just because the game said go fuck yourself. You're more likely to die because you actually just messed up.
I would say that and learning.
Yes.
Yes.
So
because
learning,
when you first go ahead.
Yeah, this deep dungeon in particular has a whole lot of gotchas where you're like, what does this cast bar do? Oh, it kills us all because we didn't do the one thing we're supposed to do, right?
Right. There's a lot
of that. There's a lot of that. There's some things that you start looking for, like, oh, the mob turned. We better get behind it. It's just like you get kind of pick up on those little things. And there's a lot of it which kind of, if you've played the game for a long time, you learn what specific mob types do from the overworld or hunts or things like that. And then you just kind of, you intuit it from that. But a lot of the bosses are just like, I guess I die the first time I do this if I'm doing it blind, which isn't bad design because then they can make things more exciting and interesting in different ways. But it just means that first blind experience is kind of like, well, that didn't feel very fun. But yeah, exactly. But even all of that combined, I still found it really rewarding to do. More so than Palace, more so than Heaven on High, for sure. I think aesthetically, I think design-wise, I think in terms of the difficulty, I think in terms of what it challenges overall, it's just a much better package, a much better piece of content. I think as well, initially people were like, oh, this is going to be so, I mean, that's what everybody says. It's going to be so hard to solo. But I think pretty quickly people are going to realize that it's the easiest one by far. So I'm looking forward to seeing how clear rates go over time and then looking at those comparisons and achievements.
Clarissa, given what I see you're laughing about, seems like you had an experience.
We queued in. Floor 1, there was, I forget what they're called, one of the enemies. Yes, a dread beast. And I was like, okay, I saw this happen to someone. I hadn't seen anything else about the deep dungeon, but I was like, I saw a clip. People queued in on floor 1. This thing 2-shot the tank and then 1-shot everyone else. So I was like, okay, healer. GCD heal the tank, who's Van. I was like, just nonstop. Just GCD heal him. And just all got deleted.
Sounds about right.
So, yep.
Yeah. So we're going to get into the Dread Beasts in a little bit, but first and foremost, there is actually a story to this one, and they went far more in depth into the actual storytelling and world building of this one, so much so that there's even story quest after you hit floor 100 and clear floor 100. There's descriptions of every boss from the NPC, telling you their lore background, why they exist in the first place. And there are a great number of rewards across all of the floors, including bronze, silver, and gold chests. So looks like they took everything they could have done in Criterion and did it here in terms of reward structure. Because they, not to mention 2 new item level weapons, 620 and 625, on top of the 625 one being dyeable, and it dyeing the glow in particular.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah. So they did everything, at least on a surface level. How did they hit the mark on this one so much more than everything else? I don't even understand it.
Is it just the rewards that's making you say that?
I mean, the content itself too, but I mean
the content itself.
The rewards too. It's just like I want to do it because it's fun. And I'm getting something out of it. And I'm not even doing it for those things. But if I were doing it for those things, I'd also be satisfied.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like this is, you kind of said it, what Criterion should have had. It should have had, guaranteed mounts at the end of X amount of clears. It should have had more achievements behind it, more challenges, and more just, I don't want to say it, but like loot boxes. It's not the right word.
I mean, there just wasn't any incentive.
No, there wasn't.
I mean, Criterion was there to stroke your e-pain. That's all it was there for.
Yeah, and to go back to Variant, which does have the lore and the world building and everything, something they are doing here. One of my biggest disappointments going to Criterion was that the one thing I loved the most about Variant was gone in Criterion. It was that fucking mammoth. That secret boss from the Variant dungeons isn't in Criterion.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Hopefully they learn from that next time. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch of things that I feel like the Deep Dungeon does really well. So I kept day one of like my capped tombstones, which I haven't done in a really long time. Right, like usually the only times that would happen is when you've got like a farm relic step. I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it today, and then you'll run your 7 bazillion 24-mans or whatever, and you'll cap for some reason because apparently we gaslit ourselves into thinking that's content. But this gives tomes, capped tomes, just for doing it, which Criterion didn't. This gives all those other rewards. It gives a whole bunch of stuff, and I feel like the pacing of it is in such a way that it feels really digestible, right? Whereas Criterion, you're wiping a bunch. One run is generally like the lockout, right? Which is what, an hour? How long is it? 92 hours? It's a long time.
Well, yeah, I mean, were you referring to Criterion or Criterion Savage? Because Criterion Savage is about 24-minute pull, approximately.
Yeah. Right, 24-minute pull, but I mean, generally, you're not one-shotting Criterion Savage because you're only doing it once for progression.
So Criterion, the regular Criterion. And you only get rewarded from the final boss also. So
exactly. And it feels like it's much more digestible because every 15 minutes or so in a group of 4, you're having a break. And you're sitting down and you're going between floors, everybody gets up, and it just feels much more segmented. Now, soloing it, a little less so, but still not awful, right? The floors are maximum of an hour. And even then, it's like, I'm doing it on Summoner, and I haven't gone beyond 45-ish minutes, and that was on a really bad set of floors to floor 70. So it seems okay, right? And solo, you're not really doing it because you like your experience of Final Fantasy. You're doing it because you hate yourself. But
it's a lot of buts.
Different things.
When it comes, you keep saying things, and you just keep being like, yeah, well, you know what? We gaslight ourselves into content, but we hate ourselves.
Well, I think when it comes to the challenge of solo, you're kind of only doing it for the challenge. So you're not really thinking about it in terms of how the general player base is going to interact with this piece of content. You're doing it because you want to, because you're crazy.
And you hate yourself.
Yes.
So I only feel that way about Palace. I don't feel that way about this in Heaven on High. I don't feel like this is a hate yourself thing.
if you didn't have to start at floor 1, I would feel the same. But you do have to start at floor 1 when you disconnect at floor 27 or 31 every single time because the servers are currently not very good.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Now, starting at 31 would be fantastic, but starting at 1 is just a slog, right? I mean, the start of any solo deep dungeon run is going to be exactly the same, just a slog and kind of not challenging, just a are you awake check.
And that's where I keep dying, is the awake part. All right. So you had that experience with the Dread Beast. I'm assuming, Clarissa, you didn't then immediately quit the... I've actually read comments of people saying they died to the Dread Beast on the first floor and never haven't gone back in since. They just said that. Fuck it.
So before we did that, I went in solo just before we had raid for the day, and I was only able to get to floor 9, and then I had to just Sudoku to go to raid. And then went back as a group with 4 people yesterday, and we got the floor 40 boss down, and then we had to stop for the night. And yeah, it definitely got better after floor 30. And I think I just think
floor 40 boss go. Did everyone done coil before?
I tried. I was on Red Mage, and I tried.
Oh, no.
I was like, check this out. I'm gonna dodge a twister by dashing in, and I died. But it was half expected, but I was like, if I don't die, this will be really cool. So it was worth a try.
One of those moments. That's fair. So I saw you grinding out with a bunch of people for 21 to 30. Are you just grinding Ether Pool at this point?
No. We actually, well, the other day we were grinding out 21 to 30. Now we're trying to actually push. We're actually trying to push on. We did get the 40. 40 was fun. We died. It was kind of funny how we died because we did have a healer. First sets of twisters come out, and I'm like, okay, I know what the fuck a twister is. I've done Twintania before. So I avoid the twister. Great, perfect. This was during burst. So, however, I star divered in to somebody else's twister because of fucking positioning. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Yeah, there was a twister there. That was my twister. I'm like, what the fuck? and luckily we rest. Great, perfect. And then we get to the point where we box each other in for the knockback and whatnot. And then there were only 2 left. It was me and Mal, and Mal's a bard. So I die, and then next time he dies. So we're gonna go back.
I was waiting for the twisting dive comment more so than anything.
No, the twisting dive actually did nothing. Like we got that like first shot. It was great. But yeah, like we're going back in. I actually, before I really started doing group runs, I had started doing solo runs from 21. That was fun. For about a good 20 minutes, that was fun because you had dread beasts on your first floor. The first chest right in front of me that I open is a mimic. Let's see what else happened.
Sounds like whatever happened didn't go very well at the end of it.
Caught too much poison from wyverns. Because that shit ticks like hell. What else? Yeah, there were just a few unlucky runs, but I eventually got it. And then I got to about 30 something and 30, I want to say 34 and died. So I'm gonna still do group, but I'm saying at the same time, I'm gonna still do solo with the knowledge I get from group.
Yep. That's generally what most people will do. They'll go through with a group first, and then so unless you're like Angelus. Angelus he did a little bit of farming, and now he's working on his Red Mage solo at this point.
One thing I will say, like a lot of mobs, from what I noticed, have like last stand type abilities.
Yeah.
Hope you saved some burst.
Yep.
Because if you didn't,
line of sight.
You're fucked.
Go line of sight. The Kakma has one of those. He's got a Hail Mary at the end. Not that I'm ever fighting those things on a fucking fair page ever again. But yeah, he starts casting Genesis at low health And the more damage reduction he has, the harder it is to actually kill him through it. But it's a really long cast. Ugh. But yeah, that's actually a big point. It's not just that the monsters have last stands; it's that they're also healthier than in both of the other deep dungeons. Noticeably healthier across all facets of the game, including the bosses, which I didn't think the floor 10 boss would take 10 fucking minutes as warrior with no strength commander, but it sure does.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we're talking about healthy with strength potions, like beefy.
I feel like the early floors, the ether pool sink is a little too low. In like 10, 20, 30. And then later on, it seems to feel better from about 40 to 60-ish. And then beyond that, it's like kind of, as it should be, difficult and challenging. But the first part just feels like, why is it this difficult? All it is just health sponges. I'm going to die to things that are going to one-shot me. And the only difference now is that I just have to take an extra 10 seconds per mob because it just has more HP. I don't quite like that bit. I feel like it doesn't really reward anything because none of the mobs there are super threatening in the same way that they do as you get deeper into the run. It just feels like it's kind of there to add to the tedium. But it's fine in a 4-man, which is the way that most people do it, right? Because you just go through and you blitz everything. You bring a warrior, you pull the whole floor, you kill it all, and then try not to kill yourself at the same time.
So for the last boss, we had 2 Onion Knights and a Toga with a dread.
Yeah.
It died so fast. That shit was crazy.
We've killed the last boss before it did the first real mechanic.
Yeah.
The amount of damage that you can do in a group with everything is insane. Yeah. So the way that, again, most people will interact with it is really good because not everybody's going to be in their super min max with 3 Onion Knights on the final boss with a dread all stacked up because they're going to be probably making more mistakes and spending more commanders on the proto-manders. I'm never going to remember that.
Yeah, no, we're calling them commanders. We're not calling them proto-manders. That's never working.
Thank you.
No.
But yeah, so that's not going to be the case for most people, but the fact that there are all these extra tools to help you out is great. I actually really like the bosses. I think that is the kind of what should be the standard for dungeon bosses in the game. Maybe not in terms of punishment, but in terms of mechanics. I feel like they're really, really kind of engaging. And even if they only have a few mechanics and they loop, they just feel more involving, right? Like even Twintania, it feels good to do. It's a little bit messy. It's a little bit all over the place. There's risk of death, even though it's not super difficult. But it's better, right? And even in a dungeon, right, you do wipe. You can just go straight back to the boss. Can't do that in a deep dungeon, but in a regular dungeon, like those sorts of bosses feel like maybe this is where all the dungeon boss ideas they've had, because they have been getting better with them over time. I feel like Endwalker dungeon bosses have been actually pretty good when you compare them to like Gorge from Shadowbringers, the dude who just did nothing and died. It just took a really long time to. I feel like they're getting better, but because we have less dungeons now than we used to in the past, maybe all those sort of ideas are just being put into things like this. Because last expansion, we had all of the critical engagements and skirmishes, which probably would have taken up a bunch of that sort of design space, right? So now they get to put all those cool ideas here. I'd like to see more of it. I really, really like the encounters.
It also goes for Criterion bosses as well,
Yes.
in terms of boss design being good. I mean, what can I say? I agree. The bosses are good. I don't want to talk too much about the later bosses since I don't know if you two have looked ahead at all, Clarissa and Sly. No.
Nope.
Yeah, because I know you really like to do them without looking, Claire. I know you in particular really like to.
Yeah, I like to do everything blind. It's the most fun.
I read your stream title. I read it. I saw it. I was like, oh, let me just go see what's going on. There you go. Are you going back in later today or you got top today?
Yeah, today.
Okay, cool. Do you also have top today?
No, we had to reschedule for a different day.
Just means more Eureka.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I can tell after what we talked about earlier. One big thing on top of the health bars is obviously the changes to the Pomanders themselves and the demi-clones instead of the Magicites from Heaven on High. These are not as strong or as instant win as any of the Heaven on High buttons, but by God, if they aren't more fun to use.
No, well, I get them confused. Doga is
Black Mage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, petrify.
He's
and
busted as
Thunder.
fuck.
He's busted as fuck, but here's the thing. That could work against you so bad.
Yeah, because then you forget what all the mechanics are, and then you go to a floor without it.
You
and
forget
like,
what they were casting, and the petrifaction like stops them mid-cast. So wherever that cast bar is at, that's where it's at when they come out of petrifaction. So you can just be wailing on something.
It just interrupts it. It will not finish.
No. I've had something. What was it? I think it was I want to say it was a Lamia. We had a Lamia. He petrified it.
Was it right
Lamia
at the end of the
comes out
taskbar?
instantly does the spin, the point blank AoE.
Circle blade. Yeah.
If it instantly did it, that means it finished casting at the pet. Yeah, you got like a really weird tick because that's not normal.
It probably got petrified during the slide cast window on its side. So then it guaranteed the completion, but then just it couldn't do it. Obviously, it was petrified, and then it happened straight up. That's actually kind of funny. Very unfortunate, but very funny.
That's a very fringe case because I've had a lot of near completions on skills and like mid animation and not had that happen. But okay, I'll keep that in mind. But either way, I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
but,
watch out for that. Doga will get you in fucking trouble sometimes.
I love it when the mob slide guys. And if they do have follow-ups that don't require, like a lot of them have follow-ups to skills they need to complete. But if you interrupt the skill that needs to be completed first, they won't do the follow-up. That is something where you would still technically want to be careful after the petrify.
And that's another thing. Yeah, you bring up a good thing. Like a lot of mobs have a wombo combo. I forget what it is. The monkey looking one on the early early floors and like
different monkeys.
Yeah, the early monkeys. Like if you get caught by the first hit, that second hit is...
you're talking about the Venaras. Yeah, you're talking about the Venaras, 4 ones. Yeah, where they do the point blank AoE, and then they'll actually hunt you down if you get hit by it.
It's a rush hit. It's a rush hit.
It's a rush hit and a tank buster right after, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the Venaras, we had somebody get hit by Venaras, and then they were like, oh, you live. Oh.
And then the Ortho Spiders. Yeah. The Ortho Spiders, if you take their point blank, you get mid-eat, and if you get needle spacered, you are pretty much done.
Yep.
Like a lot of mobs have a wombo combo.
Well, everything that's there is designed to almost instantly kill you. The few things that you can survive, you probably shouldn't attempt to anyway. Like electromagnetism into the AoE at low ether pool, that's just instant.
It just hurts.
Yeah.
At
lower
ether pool, it hurt. At lower ether pool is death. Like at reasonable ether pool, it still fucking hurts. Like I don't like taking that, but yeah, like electromagnetism easily avoidable. But that shit still hurts.
I have to lose uptime, Sly, on my monk. I don't want to lose uptime.
Okay, and all right, fuck around and
no, I found out already. You know what I've done on monk? I fucking dodged the electromagnetism and then gap closed instantly into the follow-up hit. I was like, you dumb
I've done that
motherfucker. You stupid man.
Another way to fuck around and find out is fight an Ortho Knight, have another Ortho Knight spawn on top of the same Ortho Knight you were fighting.
They chain drag. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've had that happen with Goobus. Goobus just go.
I've had so many mobs like spawn onto the one I'm already fighting. Like I think I had that happen like 4 times.
Yep.
And then last night,
fighting them in the room, Sly. I'll tell you that.
Yes,
because that's the only way that happens.
Yeah, and then last night we had an instance where this was like floor 30 to 40. The forearm dude, the roaming forearm dude.
Yeah,
we had like 4 of those march back to back into the same room. We were just counting them down, and like another one. And another one. And Sly, you're not going to believe it. There's another one.
We had 2 from every direction. Yeah, literally 3
No, they just kept coming from the same direction.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, just coming dead end, yeah. There's also, these are the kind of things that make Deep Dungeons fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You were going to say something, Clarissa?
the first time we saw him, he was walking towards us, and so our tank, he walked up to the tank, and so he was facing the tank, and he started to cast something, so we were like, oh, okay, we probably have to get away, and so we all move away in front of him, and then...
Boom.
That flash of the AoE right before you fucking die is like the most troll shit. It's like, I'm glad they're letting me know what it actually did, but that's what it's there for. It's there to let you know what it was doing. Yeah. But then, as we were talking about the new commanders, one of them is Lethargy, which slows their attack speed by like 500%. And it almost is in some ways worse because you just you're like, oh shit, I gotta dodge. And then you're like,
I don't really.
Now, I've learned something about that. Some monsters have attacks that don't have cast bars, and they just wind up. It will delay those too, and they'll just stand there like... The worst was one of them does a point blank spin, but it just does the animation. It's not like the Vanaras in the early floors where you get the cast bar. And I didn't know it was doing a fucking skill because it was just like...
With that exact face, I hope.
Yeah, for like 20 seconds, they're like, what is it doing? And then 3 people dead. Or it was just like... Lethargy's pretty
it's actually,
troll.
There's something interesting about Lethargy and the way that it works with those, the flash of the AoE. It's like, it shows that when that AoE is supposed to show is time-based and not cast bar-based. It's instead of being like 90% through the cast bar, it's 3 seconds into this 4-second cast. So that means that now that this 4-second cast is 25 seconds long, you just have this AoE indicator on the ground for like 20 seconds plus. You're just standing there looking at it being like, do I need to dodge it yet? Now? Maybe? No.
But it also makes it easier to learn. Like when you have Lethargy on a floor you've never done, if you've never seen monsters before, it actually becomes a learning tool in and of itself.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, super powerful.
Yeah, and you get a lot of them. Like a lot. All the new ones, you get a lot of everything that's new compared to like Petrifies and Heaven on High, where you're like, please give me one, and it never does it. Here, you might find one like every floor all the way up for like 10 floors in a row. And it wouldn't even be abnormal. And that's true of one of the other ones. One of the other new ones that kind of replaces the Petrify, but again, these aren't as strong. They're not as instant-win. Storms is another one of the new ones. Reduces everything on the floor's HP to 1. However, if they're out of combat or if it's not an auto-regen floor or an auto-regen cut floor, they will gradually tick back up. Yeah. So it encourages like giant pulls or, it's just there for giant pulls or to kill a Dread Beast in one hit. One of the only safe ways to do it. Pretty much Sly. We'll still talk about those.
Well, that one. Dread Beast. Done.
Yeah. Storm's probably the one most people play around. I'd say on average, do like a Sight Commander or a Lethargy and then do a Storms just so nothing can kill you. It can be a little debate though, because sometimes you go to pull everything and you kind of forget what some of those mobs do and that you can't just pull a mob and run away from it because it's going to obliterate you with a giant AoE. So that can be absolutely frightening.
I love that Storms are map wide too.
Yeah. Yeah. Although it can be a little depressing walking into a room, seeing everything's at full, knowing you stormed it. If you just,
Or watching that last health tick go back up and you're just like...
Or the first health tick when it's at 1 and you just happen to hit a server tick and it instantly goes up another 10% because it wasn't in combat. That can be pretty brutal as well. And the last one is Dread, which is a combination of Rage and Lust from Palace. A lot of good dual purpose there. Can use it to one-shot everything except Dread Beasts, by the way.
So that does mean that soloing is a little harder because you have a separate use case for both of those things. Right? You want to lust certain things and you want to rage certain things, but now that it's baked into one, you have less overall usages, and they're still pretty rare. So it's a little more tough. You really need to be a bit more efficient with the way that you use those. But again, for 4-man, it's just like you've got a room full of mimics, send it. Like that's kind of what it's there for, right?
It does have the very useful case where if you're going to dread a floor, regardless, you're not like just using it because you were going to pick one up. You can dread, go through the exit, and then have the lust active for the start of the boss, which has a great dual purpose as well.
Yeah, that is good there for sure. Oh yeah, that's good.
It's all the little things.
What are the other new ones? Oh, I guess they're the clone.
Yeah, the clones, which holy shit, I love these. So the Magicites might be floor wipes, but they're so rare, and much like with the new Protomanders, these are very fucking common. There's a particular mechanic on the last 10 floors that involves them. And by mechanic, I mean all the silver chests have clones in them in the last 10 floors. Well, they can explode too. They either explode or they're a clone for the entirety of the last 10 floors. So we picked up like 15 clones in our last run. We were just exchanging them out nonstop. And they're so useful and good, especially in in a 4-man party, they're even better. It just gets better and better and better for groups. And I think that's a big thing that's improved here with the other deep dungeons. When you're playing with a group, you're kind of just like, whatever. It's just a lot more fun to play with people.
Yeah, I totally
Agreed.
agree. That said, other people now have, because there's, more gotchas and more sort of attention checks.
Yeah.
Other people have more ways to kill you now. That happened to us just
Very
yesterday.
true.
There's a mob that has a specific baited AoE that somebody decided to run and point towards us, and yeah, we all died. Or I don't remember. It was high enough to be disappointing, but like it's just little things like that can get you now. Which if you're solo, you're thinking about it all the time. But if you're, having a chat in VC and half paying attention, and all of a sudden you're dead, and there's 3 hours down the drain, it feels a little bad. But you had fun doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we tell
Yeah,
ourselves
there
after
was-
we wipe.
Yep.
There was the one enemy, I don't remember which one it is, the one that does the petrify, and then if you get hit, he targets you with an AoE. Isn't it like an owl or something?
Owl, yeah, Mirror Knights.
Yeah. Yeah, that one. I was coming around the corner, and I didn't even know that someone else was in combat with one of them, like in the hallway around the corner. So I walk out, get hit with petrify instantly, and then got killed.
They could have stunned maybe, because you can stun those, so they just let you die. I'll just blame them.
True.
Yeah.
I'll yell at them for that later.
Yeah, you can sleep. You can sleep a lot of them as well to interrupt them. If you just want to throw repose on your bar as a healer, you can repose quite a few mobs. So there's all sorts of little things that you can do. But the demi clones. So there's 3 of them. Une, no one cares. Moving on, regardless. No, Une's the healer one. It has
Stone Skin,
which, in case anyone wasn't listening, everything fucking kills you in one hit. So the Stone Skin is just for auto attacks, pretty much, and for like mini double hits or whatever.
Yeah.
Cure 2, which is nice if you're fighting a Dread Beast legitimately, which don't do that. And then it does like arrow and stone, whatever.
Yeah.
Least impressive of the batch, I think is fair to say about Une.
She's useful for pretty much DPS if you're soloing. That's kind of it.
Yeah,
Healers
that's
can
what I was
maintain
She
themselves.
saves you potions at the end of the day. It's about all she does.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And allows you to do some mobs a little less riskily, and that's good. But
You can
it's
just
still
run
like
around with any of the clones. You can just run in a circle around a room with the clone chasing behind, and it'll just kill it for you too.
Yeah.
That works just fine.
You can only have one clone per person. So if you're
Yes.
solo, you can't summon the whole squad. You can only get one of them out yourself.
Yeah, but if you're in a
Instead of being
party,
really broken.
then you can bring the whole squad when you're in a party.
Yeah. 7-man in deep dungeon.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Then you have Doga, who I'd argue is the most averagely usable one across all the floors. It has foul, I think, so it has like a big AoE explosion. It has fire, it has a thunder dot, but it has break AoE break on it, which just petrifies enemies for 10 seconds. And if you're Sly, apparently that doesn't help you. I've never heard that happen to anyone, Sly. Only you. It's the first time I've heard it. Sly, you're muted.
And this was in a group setting too. I'm trying to like find it. But yeah, like it. But that's why I don't fuck around. Like I'll do it, and I'll keep an eye out for the petrified timer, and like disengage just in case shit's going off right on wake up. Yeah, it's good. It good. I just don't want to fuck around and find out with that one.
I mean, yeah, I don't blame you. I think most people end up starting to dodge an attack, and then they see it get petrified, and then they go back in afterwards. That's fairly normal. But yeah, Doga's break. It even works on the Dread Beasts, which is nice as well. So again, don't
I
fight
feel
them.
like-
But
Yeah. To me, it kind of feels like Lethargy and Doga and Une are kind of like the equivalent of like a sight or a safety. Now, it's just like you're not going to die on this floor. It's still going to take you a while, but you're just not going to die on this floor. Nothing's really going to kill you if you're playing safe and doing things with respect. But there's no, like you said, there's no petrifaction. There's no, one-shot magicite that's going to clear the whole floor. Instead, now you're taking a little longer, but it's still like manageable now.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that there's more of them, though, is like another thing that's kind of contributing to solos are easier, right? Because you're getting these all the way through. Like you're constantly sitting on 2 of them because you just get so many more of them that you just don't want to waste pickups.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that so in terms of solos, there was one other thing that I wanted to point out. There's like, in Deep Dungeon, in Palace of the Dead, there's just some of those fuck you mobs that are just like, you can't pull this. You cannot do this.
None of those exist here.
Really, it doesn't exist. There are some that some jobs can't do because they don't have a certain tool for it or something like that. But generally, there's always a way around it, and you can deal with it if you have the resources. So that's probably the reason, like kind of what you said at the start. There's less situations where you're just going to be straight boned because you got unlucky. Now it's more like you play it well, you're getting through. Right? If you're good at soloing Deep Dungeon, you will consistently get through, which is good. I like that sort of reward. Now, it doesn't mean that the title is less worth. I mean, I don't think that's something that anybody who does it cares about because it's fun. But it will be a much more clear piece of content because of that reason. It also doesn't take 200 floors. Thank God.
And it also starts at level 80. I think that's another reason why people are enjoying it way more. You don't start at level 1.
Yeah.
I will say, I feel still in a lot of pain from 81 to 90. I
It
feel
depends on what you play, right?
Yeah, it does. But like I did Warrior, not having Primal Rend for 9 levels is pretty rough.
I mean, it goes by quickly enough as well.
Yeah. But those
feel like
floors
a lot
are
of the-
slower, and you don't have your 90 kit at the same time, so it's you feel it. You feel it a little bit, But by 90, you have your whole kit, and everything feels nice and good.
That's why you got to play one of the modern jobs that's been revamped or added recently, so it has its whole
Summoner
kit at
still
70
has to
anyway.
wait for one of their buttons. Summoner still is missing a button until 86.
One
I mean,
button,
that's like a
that's
third
it.
of their buttons. I know that, but
Everything else is just cosmetic upgrades. Woohoo! No, but like things like Summoner, things like a whole bunch of them are really just kind of the more recently changed or added ones like Reaper and stuff like that. They don't
Monk
really
is
change
really
that
good.
much.
Monk is
Yeah, Monk
although I
is
miss
the same
old
thing,
Earth.
right?
I miss old Riddle of Earth at this point. Big time.
Absolutely would. But it would have been pretty damn broken in there.
It was already broken. It was broken the whole time it was there. It took them so long to change it.
I'm surprised it did take them so long.
I am too.
Yeah.
I was very surprised
Meanwhile,
it took them so long.
Meanwhile, Dragoon still has no personal, really. But yeah, whatever. We don't
Hey,
care about them.
they got
apparently.
Life Surge, man.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
You can't heal yourself from a one shot.
True.
Yeah, you can shield yourself from a one shot.
You can try. It won't work, but you can try.
You can try.
Tanks are the only ones who go, "Oh, I would die here." Taken care of.
Yeah.
And then we have the last one, which is just the Onion Knight, who just is a truck. Just rolls through everything. Somebody in our group said they looked over at their abacus to see what Onion Bro was doing, and on the final boss, he accounted for half of the total damage with 2 of them.
Yeah. So the ones that I've seen are doing roughly because it dies in like a minute or something like that, all you're doing is bursting the whole time that you're fighting it. And it's doing essentially the same as like full bursting DPS.
But the whole time.
The whole time.
Yeah.
They absolutely slap.
Perma 2-minute meta.
I think like a huge portion of their damage is in the dot, and it's true for all of them, I'm pretty sure. So even if you're kiting mobs forever and your little clone is running around in a circle, the dot, if the dot's there, they're still going to be taking pretty significant damage, probably more than you would be doing in that situation. So
given he just does
really,
a Rage
really
of Halone combo and puts a dot on, yeah, I'd say he's probably doing more if I was in the same situation.
Yep.
The little
Yeah.
bro. The little bro is
Super
very
strong.
welcome. Yeah. So he's the boss one as far as I mean he's the beauty of the clones is they're any floor. They're all any floors. Like if you have anything and you use them anywhere, they're useful no matter what. And then if you have 3 of them, you just 7-man the boss and laugh in their face the whole time.
What are mechanics anyway?
Yeah.
One of the things that I do like about it is in Palace and Heaven on High, a lot of the time it's just like, I have to Serenity this. There's no other choice. I got Gloom, Amnesia, and less HP or no regen. And it's just like, I have to Serenity. There's nothing else you can do in that situation because you can't pot to heal the autos. You just die. Now you've got the choice of like, oh, Une can heal me through these autos. Or Doga can stop me from taking enough damage. Or Onion, I can just kill them before they kill me. It's just another button that doesn't force you to only have Serenity for when you're going through these levels.
Until you get no demi clone, no item, no ability.
Yeah, that one not so much fun. But like then you've got Serenities for that really, really unfortunate situation. But the fact that in previous ones you were so limited specifically by Serenity about how lucky you were gonna be. This feels like it alleviates a lot of that. Like it's like bad luck prevention almost.
Yep. My Palace solo, I had no debuffs practically until 199. I had 1 Serenity the whole last 10 floors, and it survived until the very last floor.
Yeah, that's pretty good. My
Yeah.
current solo run, I'll be going into 71, and I have 1 Serenity, so it's not looking ideal, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm pretty comfortable with those mobs.
Just win. You'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Just run in a circle. I'm playing Summoner. I've got like 2 casts.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that we've been dancing around that's new is the Dread Beasts. They are bosses, all references to the Warring Triad, mind you, as well. Fun little tidbit in there. That are murder machines. They all have like 2 or 3 attacks, and they just destroy your whole health bar no matter how much ether pool you have.
That didn't actually cross my mind until you just said it. Yeah, they are all references to Warring Triad. Yeah.
Yep. You have the Kakma for Sephiroth, which is actually
Yep.
from the Sephiroth fight. The Melu sign is the Sophia. It's kind of,
But
you know.
I mean,
Kinda.
the snakish head. I mean, it is like a Lamia head thing that her daughter is, right?
Yeah, kind of.
I think that's
a
the
little
model for it. Looks like it.
And then you have the Mericidian clone for Zurban.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there.
Well, I mean, it
But
also
they're
makes it
dangerous. They are scary. I remember reading it in the notes. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So there's just that mob that's like a little stronger, and then you can decide whether. And then it murdered everyone instantly, as we were talking about earlier.
I remember the first time it murdered our tank in the group. Like, I'm like, wait, what the fuck happened? You just pulled it. It's like, I don't know.
It died.
And then we each begin dying back to back. Yeah.
Do you remember when
that was
you
fun.
first walked into Zadnor and you're looking at all the mobs and there's that star rank mob? You're like, what does that do? So you pull it and it just one-shots your tank. It's that exact experience like happening again, except this time, instead of just going back and someone rezzing you, you're going back to floor 1. So a little more punishing. It's cool to
Unless you have the re-raise. Which
Yep.
And then you forget that you put a dot on it and you re-raise, and it still has aggro.
oh, that is fun. Wait, but does the dot persist? Like,
Yeah, your dot. If you get back up, if you res and die and get back up on a dot solid, it comes back. And with raising, you can't like choose when to get back up either. So it's not like you're like, oh, I'll wait it out. No, you're fucking staying on the ground. You're going back down. Yeah, these things are they're scary, and they never get unscary ever.
nope.
Everyone's gonna have a first time story when it comes to the Dread Beasts because nobody was expecting them to do that.
I don't think we ever wiped to 1, but we very nearly did. Like it's going to be really strong, but actually, I think we got to like 7 stacks on the Kokma first time that we saw one. So we had a bit of a hard time beating that last bit of HP, but it's when you're low gear and all that sort of stuff, it feels like the sort of thing that you're not supposed to interact with the first time you go through, or even the second time you go through, because you just
But you're
won't have the
going
ether
to.
for it. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. What is this
That was
shiny
exactly
thing?
what happened when we saw it. I was like, I want to pull it. And they were like, I don't think we should. And I was like, no, I want to. Trust me.
Yeah, they all have, and so they all have something interesting about them, and something that's unique about each of them. First off, they all, and I can't stress this enough, have a ranged buster of some kind that can hit you from any aggro distance, because I got hit from 2 rooms away by one of them. It was nowhere fucking near me, and it still hit me. So that's something they all have. One of them, it's Flame Circle. I don't know what the Kakma one is called. And the other dude is a Thrust. He just pokes. They all have a stacking buff of some kind. The Mericidian Clone is Berserk, which you can actually interrupt. The Lamia gets a regen, and the Kakma gets damage reduction. And then they all have one other thing. They all have some other skill. The Mericidian has the one has Petrification. The Lamia has Petrification. The Mericidian clone has Meteor and Genesis for the Kakma. There you go. That's it. They all just follow the same formula, but they just kill you, and they don't care. None of that matters because you just fucking die in 2 hits, regardless of job. And a lot of people are struggling with that. And so I like it, but I feel like a lot of people don't, especially matched 21 to 30 parties.
Yeah. I feel like early on they're good for going fast if you just want to storm them and go, and later on they're kind of just a storm check. Do you want to buff? Do you want to spend the resources for this buff? But other than that, I don't think I'd ever want to actually pull one above like floor 50. And actually fight it like you're supposed to. No, absolutely not. It just it feels like such a risk for getting like a regen buff.
God, I could not stand the idea of fighting the Lamia in particular.
No. I mean, we've done that one. A terrible, terrible idea. But like, even just the regen buff feels a little underwhelming. I think the damage up and the damage taken down are both really, really strong. If you can get them, grab them every single time. Like if you just have 3 storms and you see one and you're on floor 1 and you'll get the full value out of that 30 minutes. Absolutely spend it. Go through. But the regen, I'm not about that, especially because like it can be disabled and all that sort of stuff. So that one's a hard sell for me.
Now, I think one thing that people are going to need to learn, if you didn't already know about it, is aggro types, because Dread Beasts are all side aggro, and you can walk behind them. Because I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, it's in the exit room, so we had no choice." And it's like, no, you do. It's just not a very good choice at the end of the day.
I don't know. I think them being there is cool because I like trying to, be sneaky and work around them and stuff, and just being more careful in general with everything. But on later floors, I can definitely see that opinion changing.
And they could be pretty common too. I mean, they pretty much all of the new stuff is not that rare. Like, so you could go a run without seeing like a Dread Beast for 50 floors. You could also see 3 of them in a set of 10. It's that's just the RNG of it. But again, it's not like the auspices in Heaven on High, which you almost never see or interact with. And even when you do, you generally don't give a shit because they're not very good at the end of the day. So it's, I don't know. I feel like all these ideas just work. It's the first time they've done new things, and I felt like they all worked in a long time with Final Fantasy XIV. It's on something that's an old idea, but it's new ideas within the old idea. And I guess they actually do have a good track record with that most of the time. Most of the time. But yeah, I'm really trying to avoid talking about some of the later stuff to save it for now.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay for Clarissa. I want her to have that experience. I don't want to spoil that experience.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to experience it organically myself. So yeah.
I would say
hold back, please.
Like, virtually every floor boss is unique in its own way. I think there's maybe one which I was slightly disappointed by, but everything else, yeah.
Let me guess. It's between 2, because I don't think it's one of the early ones. I think it's one of the mid ones, and thus it would probably be 80.
Not 80.
Damn.
It's probably the other one you're thinking of.
60.
Yeah.
Okay.
60.
There you go.
Now, I think it can be good because certain people are bad at that sort of thing, so they can't make it too hard. But it felt a little underwhelming to me. That said, all the other ones were insanely good. 90 is probably my favorite like dungeon type boss that has ever been in the game. It's so cool. But yeah, I really, really, and I hate that I can't talk about it, but I'm looking forward to doing them
if you
solo.
want to talk about it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, doing them solo is going to be really cool because I'll have to do the mechanics now. We can't just ignore them by having 7 dudes smacking them. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also one new element here that I also don't want to talk about to spoil for them. But let's just say I really like the last 10 floors. There's one major new thing that I really like that occurs in the last 10 floors. And I hope everyone else likes it as well. So
DM me what it is, because I don't know what it is that you're talking about right now. Because there's a couple things it could be.
It's the thing.
The thing? Oh, right.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. No, you know. Yeah. You know.
The thing.
The thing. Yeah. I also like that there's just infinite clones on the last 10 floors. I also am a big fan of that. I definitely won't complain. Though that's a big thing. These are the easiest last 10 floors by far. The monsters themselves are probably the worst of all of them. I think if you actually have to fight most of them, they're fucking awful, especially one of the patrols. But you'd really end up, I never really had to fight any of them fairly because you just likelihood you made it there with fucking everything.
Potentially, yeah. I want to see how it ends up solo because I haven't seen any of the completed solo runs. I've actually done like no research into how other people are doing it, so I'm kind of basing
everyone
everything
I've
off.
watched is them having a million dreads and lethargies and storms and everything. Like that's how it was in our group setting. That's how it was in their solo setting when I've watched the other footage as well.
Yeah.
And infinite clones.
True. Yeah, that definitely will help.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a little concerned going into it, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm probably going to do one more 4-man run tomorrow. I'm not sure. And then I'll try and finish the solo after that.
Now, speaking of completing, we were talking about not having a reason to do it again when we were talking about Criterion. Now, other than the fun, they do have, I think it's 7 total rewards, but you could get them done in 6. Because, like Heaven on High, for collecting all the accessories that you get from clearing the final floor, there's a mount. On top of the fact that there's a mount from the higher level coffers, I sold the barding for 7.5 million gil. Somebody in my party sold the mount tried to sell it for 60 million gil.
Which barding?
The one from the patch notes, the Allegan looking one.
Has like the blue glowy lines on it, like the weapons do.
I didn't get it.
Yeah. And the mount is, without telling anyone what the boss is the floor 70 boss. And it is the cooler looking version of it, is what I'll say. Dancing around spoilers. Sfi knows, he's like, yep, I know what the cooler looking version is. Yeah. So really good reward structure there. There is a framer kit as well from both 10 fragments as well as a floor 100 clear that you can buy with the thing. So most people are, framer kits are pretty popular, even though they keep fucking up the portrait system. At least the kit looks good.
Why is there not one for top yet?
Probably next patch, because we didn't have one for DSR. I know there was beta launch when DSR was out, but we didn't get all the ultimate ones till a patch later either. So
okay. Yeah, you're right. So next patch, you think?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's weird how I really don't care that much about it, but I also really care about the framer kit.
Yeah.
Because the portrait system's so fucked, but the portrait system doesn't matter for the adventure plate. That's why. Mm-hmm. That's why.
But it's a box to tick. That's the thing, right? Yeah. You got to get a framer kit because then it has a little check mark next to it next time you see that in a menu, and that means good. Mm-hmm. Endorphins up. Yep. Bar to fill.
Yep. There's like new housing items. There's triple triad cards. There's the new HQ like glam weapons from some of the old stuff, and then What else is there? There's one other item from 4100 clear. I think it's a housing item. I can't remember what it is.
Yes, there's a few housing items. Yeah.
Well, I mean specifically from the 4100 clear, yeah.
Yes,
Oh yeah, no, I
Apple
remember what
furnishing.
it is. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like again, there's just so many reasons to do it more than once or to just try. I don't know. It's just it makes me depressed about Criterion. That's it. This is just me being depressed that Criterion
Yeah.
doesn't have fucking jack shit. What's up?
And it sucks because Criterion was really fun. I really liked it.
Yeah.
But they're just
Speaking of rewards, though, you know how it's like the fragments? They're pretty important if you're soloing because you need a decent stack of pots to go through it. It's 3 fragments for 1 tier 9 materia from the Palace from this new deep dungeon. That rate of return is not good. Do not buy materia with those fragments. It is
Nope.
much better spent elsewhere. I mean, eventually, once you've done all the solos you want to, and you want to keep doing deep dungeon for some reason, and you've got the framer kit, sure, that's the point to dump them, but really not that great.
And I'm trying to remember. It's only like battle material, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, only battle material.
Okay.
Well, Sfi,
Yeah.
I'll have you know that people who do really like them have tons of these. In fact, you know the item for the Shadowbringers relic that you could get from Palace of the Dead from clearing the 10
Yes.
floors? Angelus has a full stack of those.
But like 999?
999. 999. That's way that he can make relics for several expansions and delete them and then make them again.
You have 1 step of relics for 1 expansion.
And the good news is on tank, you pretty much don't need the fragments at all. So who cares? I can't think you don't, like you can
sure.
use them in a few cases, but on tank, you really don't need them.
Yeah.
But it's just, I like how this became Palace of the Dead or Deep Dungeon show. Now it's Criterion Depression show. It just keeps coming back.
because
it's
it
gonna
was
be
so
an-
fun.
Because it's another dungeon. Like this, these are the because people. A lot of people thought Criterion was a deep. Like people who don't keep up with the news, they thought, oh, another Syldian Subterrane is our next deep dungeon. That's just like an instant connect. I saw it a ton. So many
Really?
people kept asking me about that. Yeah, they don't keep up with the news. They just they
No,
don't.
clearly not.
No, that's fine. They're
They
learning
probably
now.
just heard that there is going to be a deep dungeon, and so they were like, "Oh,
Yes.
new dungeon. That's it."
That's pretty much it.
Speaking of other miscellaneous content, battle content in this expansion, when are we getting Blue Mage stuff?
Anyway,
Because
moving
they
on.
did say it. They did say that it is coming. They said it is
So,
coming for us to be patient. But when is it happening? Because I really like Blue Mage.
They didn't
stuff.
say it would be this expansion. They said they
thought
will
they
do.
did.
Nope, they never did. They said eventually we'll see something new. Yeah, definitely 6. What they did say is because they weren't releasing an ultimate in 6.5, they had read concerns that there wouldn't be activities to do while waiting for the expansion. They said we do have something planned. That's what they did say.
What if it's Blue Mage Ultimate? I'm going to get off the
No, dude, I'm telling you, Blue Mage Deep Dungeon, you start with just Water Gun and you have to learn the spells as you climb. Come on, Square. It's an easy one.
Maybe.
No, maybe. I mean, no, it's not no, maybe. It's no, they're never going to fucking do it. But, like, come
That's
on.
happening for sure.
The Blue Mage Battle Royale mode, yeah, that can be in 6.5. There you go. They also talked about that for Blue Mage. Where you just start with, you have to pick up your spells off the ground and then kill each other.
I mean, April Fool's is coming up, so
No, we can't. Sly, they've made like 2 of those real. Like we can't keep doing it. We can't. They can't April Fool's things anymore because there's a chance they'll become real.
Can they go and make Tactics Alexander then? Because that still breaks my heart that was an April Fool's thing. Like, it's one of the best ideas for a game I've ever seen. I want to play it, but it's just a joke. It's actually a joke.
It's gonna be the Omega Alexa 2.0, but it's like the top head. It's the final form's head.
Yeah.
God, don't do that. Please don't do that. Listen, it didn't scar me, but I don't want it. Omega, tell me a joke. You are adopted. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. That's what he does in the thing. That's what he says. You are adopted. Good jokes. Good writing. Anyway, that's 6.35, mostly Eureka Orthos. A lot of different things about it. A lot of small things changed, a lot of small things added. A lot of people don't even know you can get brightens and flares for silver chests. Get +2s or +3s. Those do still occur. So laugh at your friends when they don't get it.
There was some light farming. There we go.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. The light farming was the ether pools along the way. And now if you want all the weapons, you just need 90 times 19 ether pool. So get to farming.
Is it 90 for a weapon?
It's 30. It's 30 for the normal, and then 60 for the upgraded one. That's the same for the old ones too. It's 9 grips.
Okay.
The difference is now you can buy grips instead of.
I was thinking about the addition of those and what that means. What I would really like to see, I'm not going to do this, but what I'd really be interested in seeing is someone who's really good at deep dungeon cashing out all the ether pool and seeing how low they can do a clear at. Because I have someone going through it like 30. We did a run with someone who was fresh, and they finished the final boss at like 28-33 or something. Now, if someone was soloing it, that would be really, really cool to see, because they'd have to know everything perfectly because you just die to autos. But that would be a cool challenge. Yeah, again, definitely not doing it myself. It's stupid. It's a waste of my time. But people like that stuff, right? Not me.
Someone else.
Some people do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'll stick to Final Fantasy 12 New Game minus instead of that. That's more fun.
Minus?
Yeah, you're level 1 the whole. You're level. It's 1 2 2 3 3 3 mode. So it's 1 person level 1, 2 people level 2, 3 people level 3. Yeah, that's more fun. To me, at the very least.
Okay.
Yeah, would recommend. But other than that, yeah, I mean, we pretty much covered everything with 6.35, unless there's something in particular we didn't touch upon that anyone wants to bring up, discuss, knock out, whatever.
I think we went over everything.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think we pretty much covered. Like, it was a pretty short patch, but like a lot in it in terms of deep dungeon, pretty short relic, a useless crafter relic.
But Sly, I don't have a pentamelded tool.
Make one.
It would be easier to get one, yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to do it indicator than the shit that they're gonna make you go through just for a useless crafter weapon. So
we didn't talk about the people complaining that the Loporette ear wiggle thing doesn't make Viera ears wiggle. Apparently, some people actually expected that.
Oh yeah, I do remember seeing that. Yeah.
And y'all are mad at me about the fucking chair. What the fuck?
No one's mad at you about
That's
the
just
chair.
such an unrealistic expectation. Like, Viera can't even wear all hats, and you think they're going to have every different ear style wiggle for this emote for Viera. Yes,
Right.
sure. Absolutely.
That's a big copium moment, is what that is.
Massive.
Like, oh, for sure it'll be that. Oh, wait, where is my copium bottle? Oh, here it is. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Wait, what is it? There we go. This one.
They got a new copium truck delivery.
Oh, it's upside down. What the heck? Oh, it's all messed up. I'm going to need a new copium bottle. There we go.
You broke your copium.
No, there we go. I just, the nozzle was over too. It was the wrong way, so my brain broke. There we go.
There was one more complaint that I have about Deep Dungeon.
Oh,
Kind of
what's that?
two, but it's one before we finish. Queuing in as a group is not a fun experience.
It
Because
is
of the
not.
instancing, and not only the instancing, once you all get there, every time you try and queue in and it fails,
It makes a
it
save.
gives you like a fake save file that you need to delete and then
Yeah,
start
like
again.
a
And
solo save file.
I don't know why it does it. It's so annoying. And yeah, we spent like 5-6 minutes yesterday just being like, okay, who didn't reset? Everybody stop, reset, ready, check when you're done. We did that, still fucked it up somehow. Yeah, not fun.
Save files.
Yep.
What?
We're going to
Go
say
ahead.
the same thing, Sly. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that save files in general are convoluted. Like the way they work, the way you die. I mean, understandable. You die, the save is done. Great. And then matching. Like, we have PF for a fucking reason. Like, when you go with a fixed party, like it locks you with that party. Good. Like, if you were doing this, if you PF this and had to do and did fixed party, good luck finding those random people that you ran with on the first fucking day in that fixed party. Your fixed party save is just fucked unless you can
better finish
get
it
with
one
them.
sitting in because people are not reliable enough to come back another day.
Exactly.
My big complaint is this. This is the total number of saves you get.
2.
Doesn't make sense.
The only thing that's as disappointing as this is this being the number of duty recorders that you can save if you were even going to use it in the first place.
Okay, why does duty recorder still exist when it's never used for anything relevant? There is somebody maintaining that every patch, updating it to the last patch's stuff, and they're like, yeah, this is a great use of resources.
They're just winding up. There's any patch now.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like the only other thing that I think of that's like as almost redundant as that is the dude who updates every new minion with Lord of the Minion stats. Like they give them attack and HP and special abilities.
I think they just copy paste it at this point. I think they just find another minion and copy and paste it.
Maybe they do, but somebody is doing it. That's their job. Somebody's job is to do the duty recorder and be like, you know what? Let's make it so that we can look at, God, what was the first tier? The Hesperos now. Because we really need to be able to see what we're doing in Hesperos this patch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just wait, guys. It's going to be so good soon. You guys are going to love Duty Recorder. This next patch, it's coming in hot.
Apparently one of the last minions is broken. Well,
I'm about to hotbox this copium instead. Just close all the doors and windows and just fucking spray it into the air.
Funnel it in through the vents.
Yeah. Everyone in my building's just like, today's going to be a great day today. I don't know why I feel that way. Copium bomb. Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, we're good. We're done. My brain melted having to inhale so much. I wasn't ready for that.
Copium will do that.
Yeah, it's just lightheaded. All right, there you go. I'm gonna put this over here now. Okay, well, that's gonna be our show for patch 6.35. Again, appreciate Sfi and Clarissa for both making time, very short notice, just about 16 hours in advance. And for coming on and having this fun little discussion with us. I'm definitely tuning into your stream to watch you do this later, Clarissa, because I've been loving watching people do it as well, like that first experience. So that's it's a win-win, even as just a viewer.
Yeah, I'm having way more fun. Like I did have it on high with a group, and it was pretty fun. But I'm having a lot more fun with this.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. And Sly, you too. When you go back in, tonight's Friday though, so you got other fun stuff. No fun stuff tonight?
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah, you got fun stuff.
Yeah,
it's Friday night.
Yeah, I'm going back in on Saturday. Like Saturday is going to be a full day.
Yeah. Chat brings up the only disappointment of 6.35. That's too notable. Savage is still locked. Moving on.
Yeah.
One day they'll learn. One day.
Like 6 months old at this point? More?
Yep, no, 6 months. That's right. 4 months between patches, pretty much, and then another 2 months, another 8 weeks for 0.35. Mm-hmm. Yep. Don't get Xeno started on this. I've had that experience already in recent times. Sfi's just realizing he forgot Savage Tier existed.
not really, because we're obviously going to start, winding up for that a bit in terms of, prog prep and stuff like that, because 8 weeks-ish away, maybe a little bit more.
Should be 11 weeks. Should be 11 weeks from now.
11 weeks.
May 23rd. Well, no, and then another week on top of that. So May 23rd is my predicted patch date, which would mean the 30th would be the Savage.
30th for Savage is your predicted date. Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. I think.
What's going on over there?
No, I think it's my mom's birthday around that time. And it's like, it's her 60th, right? So, well, yeah, I mean, it is. It's 26. So
I was going to say, I was like, don't let her see this show.
I'm terrible with dates. Absolutely terrible with dates. Yeah. So
I always remember months for birthdays, but never the days.
Yeah. Everybody that knows me knows that I will forget the most asinine facts about them, like, the important things, the name and birthday.
I don't think an asinine fact is important about someone.
But I will remember things like, useless information. I feel like the dumb stuff goes in and the important stuff just falls out all the time.
Yeah, it's internet brain.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's fine.
Could be.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you again, both of you, for showing up. Before we sign off, thank you to our sponsors again over on Patreon for supporting. Don't have to, choose to. All the content's free. Nothing about that is changing, so we appreciate you. And of course, thanks to SteelSeries and Advanced GG for the discount codes and the links, because people like to save money and not spend it, and then just have it instead. But then they also want stuff. So, what a conundrum of life. So, thank you. With that, we can get signing off. Clarissa, let's start with you. Where can people find you at? What are you up to? And what do you got planned in the near future?
You can find me at twitch.tv/ClarissaEve and also youtube.com/ClarissaEvergarden. I'm still progging top. We're on Sigma Prog. I'm playing Samurai 4. I kind of want to try Reaper as well, but for now I'm trying to just keep damage consistent and everything. So hopefully we're going to be clearing pretty soon, or trying to clear. And yeah, we're doing the deep dungeon and stuff. And I also like to draw people's characters. I do like little sort of raffles all the time for drawing people's characters. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Got a quick question before anyone else signs off. Would you what is an affordable pen pad for your PC that you would recommend for
Pen
someone
pad
who wants
with
to
a
draw?
PC?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have been using, this is an old iPad.
Okay.
This is what I've been using for a very long time. I only just recently got this one over here, which is a Huion something. But yeah, I used an iPad, or still use actually.
Yeah, cool.
So,
I might need a drawing incentive. I'm not skilled at it, but I might still need one.
something that's nice about the iPad is the app that I use is called Procreate, and it's $10, but you just buy it once. It's not a monthly subscription like Photoshop or something like that. So that is a nice part of it.
Okay. Appreciate it. Keep that in mind. All right. Sfi, same questions, same answers. Well, different answers, I suppose. Where can everyone find you at? What are you working on?
No. What am I working on? I've actually streamed more in the last 3 weeks than I have in the last 3 months, because Octopath 2 was a very, very, very good game. But yeah, twitch.tv/Sphere, and I don't really use my YouTube anymore. But I guess at FFsphere on Twitter as well, if you care about that. What do I do? At the moment, it's a lot of Eureka for Final Fantasy streams. When we get closer to prog tiers, it'll be probably more talking and less doing of stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just enjoying the content right now. So I'll be doing solos over the next wee while. So, well, hopefully one solo, but we'll see.
Minimum one.
Yeah, sure.
No, you'll want to do more. I know.
Got to one-shot it easy. I'm definitely not soloing it more than once. No chance. Once that's done, I'm finished. Never to return. I'm not the guy with the itch to do it on every job. No. I'm the dude who plays it on the easiest job to do it on when it's the strongest. You know, that completely off tangent, but there was a patch where in Deep Dungeon and Palace of the Dead, red mages used to be able to do more of their finish a combo. There was a 2-week period where in Palace of the Dead they had access to Scorch, I think, which they weren't supposed to.
No,
yeah,
definitely not.
Yeah, that was a thing. So some people may have snuck in some clears then. But yeah, so that's the sort of
I'm not gonna
I'm
lie.
playing Summoner.
If you soloed with that bug, you probably deserved it anyway because you still did everything else that Palace of the Dead makes you do.
Yeah, exactly. You just had a little bit more damage, slightly.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. I
right.
played video games.
Octopath 2,
on
high
stream.
five.
Yeah, very, very
Did you finish
good
the
game.
100%?
I did. I haven't done the last side quest. I've got one to do.
And I think I know which one it is.
Probably. I've done the optional
Boss?
super boss.
Okay, then that's
I did
not
that.
the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I can't read Beastling.
Oh my god. Okay, I know which
Yeah.
one then.
I look at this. I've been trying to figure it out. I figured out I think what it means.
Is that Gormph?
It's Gormf. Yes,
Okay.
I know what it means, but I don't know how to finish it. Because I'm not going to look it up. Anyway, loved it.
Fucking
Really, really good game.
Fucking Gormf, man. All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that.
Thank you.
And Sly, what do you got going on in the current and near future?
Well, you can find me at twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox. You can find me on Twitter and Sly the Fox. Next week, I am actually getting back into Trails because Trails of Azure comes out, so I will be back on that for a while. Of course, looking forward to RE4, the demo, play the demo. I need to do the challenge mode on the demo for RE4. Looking forward to that as well. And, the usual stuff. Good ad Gundam and Warhammer and whatnot. And, of course, Deep Dungeon, trying to get to the top before, this goes out of style and nobody wants to do it anymore. So, yeah. And then Haps and I and Midna have something tonight, which I'm going to be pre-gaming for after this. So, yeah, today is March 10th. If you weren't aware, Mario Day. I'm going to be drunk tonight.
Which one are we playing first?
I don't know.
Let me check. Yeah, I don't remember playing Mario Party or Mario Kart, but either way, I'm set regardless. So
yeah.
And unfortunately for me, I don't have my wheels already moved, so I can't pull out the wheel for Mario Kart. So,
oh, poor you.
I'm pretty good at the wheel in Mario Kart. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me because I'm beautiful. Get out of here. Yeah, and that's what I have going on tonight too. But Mr. Happy and then all the stuff. I'm just trying to stay on YouTube stuff nonstop right now. So Deep Dungeon stuff, working on. I have like 3 different series I'm trying to maintain week to week for at least a few months. And I'm in the process of a move. So if I can't stream or anything on a specific day because I need to take care of stuff for that, then don't mind me. But I don't think there'll be too much of an interruption on that front. So juggling life and likes to throw more balls for you to juggle. Bad choice of words. Either way. With that, don't Sly. Don't give me
It
that.
happens. Sometimes you just gotta juggle balls.
Yep.
We get it.
That's it. I mean, what else am I gonna juggle?
Chainsaws. I don't know.
How'd you go? You went. That's a big leap, all the way to chainsaws, huh? Not like triangles or yeah.
Yep. People juggle chainsaws. It's a real thing.
I know it is. It's fucking
You asked
scary.
what else? He gave you an answer.
Yeah, that was an extreme jump. Okay, well, with that, we're gonna go into a short post show, and then I'll let our guests, go, and I guess Sly can go get fucked up before he even has to play Mario Party or whatever the fuck we're playing.
Woo!
All right, I'll have a glass of whiskey ready too, Sly, except that I won't need it as much as you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next week for Sly.
The ANZ Community Show.
Yeah. There you go. They have their own server, and now we're giving them a show too. It's perfect. Data center, not server.
Yeah.
Server, kind of still. And we'll see you guys next week. And until then, you have a good one.
Take care.